Hi, welcome to the Afterlife discussion. I hope you all are having a good Saturday. I'm here to bring forth my usual Q&A video. It's where I respond to questions and comments from commenters regarding my videos, and I always like to do it publicly in case others may have the same questions or the same thoughts as those commenting. So with that being said, the first comment I received is from a user who goes by the name of Purple Kush 8912. And they wrote the following: "She," referring to me, "speaks in absolutes, quite a bit with zero evidence. Definitely a sign of low IQ, but whatever, just ignore those parts." And I say this to Purple. Purple, your comment is laughable. It is truly laughable. And the reason why it's laughable is because you really thought you were saying something with that comment, but I have to say this: you don't want to go toe to toe with me verbally when it comes to insults and the like. You don't want to do that. No, sir. No, ma'am. Because I'm the type of person whereas if you insult me, I will cut your ass all the way down to the ground. I will leave you in tears. I am not the one that you want to verbally go toe to toe with, because you will lose that battle. Because if it's one thing that I know how to do well, it's how to insult the hell out of somebody, how to cut someone down verbally. You don't want to go there with me, because you will lose. Because I will cut your ass all the way down. And I will laugh about it later. Now, with that being said, everything that I have ever said on this channel is backed up by evidence. Every single thing. It is backed up with evidence, because you see, while you are sitting in your mama's basement in your diarrhea streaked tidy whities with no job, playing video games all day, I'm in my home after coming home from work, researching, spending hours doing research. And because I spend hours doing research, this is why I know what I know about the reincarnation trick and all of its connecting factors. Now, Purple, either you have tried to find the evidence and you couldn't find it, or you just never bothered to try to find the evidence. If you have tried to find the evidence but couldn't find it, that is not a surprise to me. Not at all. Because with a name like Purple Kush 8912, your brain cells are fried. Smoking weed every day, probably, no doubt, all day. Your brain cells are so fried that you'd forget your own password if it wasn't saved in your browser. So, of course, you tried to find the evidence, but you couldn't find it, because how can you find it when your brain is so damaged? And see, I would spend the time in this video to walk you through the evidence, but what's the point? What's the point of doing that? Because no doubt your last two working brain cells are probably too busy arguing over who gets to hold the lighter. So what's the point in going through the evidence with you in this video? But nevertheless, the evidence is out there regarding the reincarnation trick and all of its connecting factors. Fool. The evidence is all there. You just lack the cognitive bandwidth to process it, because again, your brain is damaged. Your brain is so damaged, you probably don't even know how to use a search engine to find the evidence. I do have the evidence, though. Absolutely, I do. You just don't have the attention span, nor the healthy brain to know how to find the evidence. Because for someone like you, it's hard to fact check when you struggle to remember what you even had for breakfast. So I understand if you have tried to find the evidence, but you could not find it. I totally understand. Your mama should be embarrassed, and your daddy damn sure should have pulled out. Absolutely, your daddy should have pulled out. You, Purple Kush, are a waste of space. I'm pretty sure you are probably a NPC. And as such, you are a waste of space, a waste of air. So again, you probably, no doubt, tried to find the evidence, but you couldn't find it because of your damaged brain. But however, if you never even tried to find the evidence, that too is understandable, because if you had common sense, you would say to yourself, let me fact check everything that she is saying. And then you would get into research and get into fact checking, and then you would see the evidence for yourself. But see, you don't even have the common sense to think that way. Again, your mama should be embarrassed, and your daddy damn sure should have pulled out before he bust a nut in your mama, resulting in your mama having the ignorant specimen known as you. Now, your second comment goes on to say, also, don't forget her plan is to kill herself to leave. LMAO. Not exactly someone you want to be following 100%. First of all, I don't want you following me 1% at all, period. I don't even want you commenting in my comment section. You are a disgusting, vile specimen to me. I don't want anyone following me. I am not someone to follow. And in one of my past videos, I said I don't want followers because this is not a cult and I am not a cult leader. All I'm giving is information. And it's up to people whether to accept the information or not. I don't want people following me. I'm just here to give information that I have come across and that I think would help people. If they take it, great. If they don't, that's on them. So you don't make sense with that part. Your other part, where you say, my plan is to kill myself, please let me know where I have said that at in any of my videos. Because how I plan to leave the Matrix, to be completely honest, is none of your damn business. It's none of your damn business, and I will never let anyone know how I plan to leave the Matrix. And there are multiple ways to leave the Matrix. But which way that I am going to choose is no one's business but my own. What I have said is that one of these days, very soon, I am going to leave the Matrix. And yes, I am. Yes, I am. But how I plan to do it is no one's business but my own. You need to worry about your damaged soul. Don't worry about my soul and how I plan to leave the Matrix. Don't worry about that. That's none of your damn business. Worry about your soul. And you need to be worried about your soul because based off of your comments, your soul is completely damaged as well as your brain. And I have a damn good idea of where you would go if you were to take your last breath today. Straight to the Summerland. Oh, Enki would love you. So, again, you saying that I'm planning on killing myself, that's a lie, because never have I ever said, I'm going to kill myself to leave the Matrix. Never said it. I said I'm going to leave the Matrix. And there are multiple ways to leave. And if one of those ways happens to be by me physically unplugging, again, that is my damn business, not yours. That's my damn business. Whether I do or whether I don't, that has nothing to do with you. There's going to come a time where I'm going to physically leave the matrix. That's what I'm going to do. However, there are people who are going to stay in this matrix until they're in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and that's fine. But whenever it comes time for them to take their last breath, yes, they need to know what to do when they cross over into the afterlife. That is the whole message I have been giving people from day one on this channel. But as far as me, myself, yes, one of these days very soon, I'm going to leave the matrix. How I leave the matrix, though, is none of your damn business. And I will never tell which method I'm going to use to leave the matrix because that's private. So again, please let me know in what video on my channel did I say I'm going to kill myself. No, no, sir, no, madam. In no video did I say that. What I did say is that I'm going to one of these days soon physically leave the matrix, and I am. And I absolutely am, because I'll be damned if I take the mark of the beast when that does unroll out. And it will unroll out, and I am not going to take it. And the ultimatum will be either you take the mark of the beast or else. And I'm not going with the else, and I'm not taking the mark of the beast. That would be my time to unplug. But how I will unplug is none of your damn business. You need to be worried about your little shitty ass soul. And judging from your comments, your soul is shitty as shit. It's as shitty as the shit in your tidy whities. It's as shitty as that damaged brain in your head. Worry about your soul, not about my soul. So this is what I wanted to say. Lastly, I will say to you, if you feel that what I am saying in all of my videos is coming from a place where I have no evidence, take your uneducated ass to another channel. Because I don't want someone like you on my channel listening to a damn thing that I say, because from what you said in your first comment, you are ignoring part of what I say, and apparently you are taking in other things that I say. Don't take in a damn thing that I say. Get the hell off my channel. Bounce. And as a matter of fact, after this video is done, I'm going to block you because I don't want you commenting. And if I find out that you come in as another username, I'm going to block that. And I'm going to keep blocking until you get tired of making usernames, because I don't want your ass on my channel. I don't have time to deal with idiots like you. Don't listen to a damn thing that I say. I don't want you listening to me, period. Because people like you don't deserve to get the information that I'm giving. Why? Why is because you are an NPC. That information wouldn't help you anyway. So get your tighty-whitey, diarrhea-streaked ass off my channel. This is not the channel for you. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go to the next comment that I received. And the next comment I received is a question from someone named Dado76Crow, CRO. And they wrote about the video I did about New Year's Eve. They posed a question, and this was their question. Have you heard about the tragedy in Switzerland where over 40 very young people burned to death? It happened after midnight on New Year's Eve. Unfortunately, it turned out to be another act of the Archons as a ritual sacrifice. Yes, I heard, and I thought it was a shame. Right after midnight, a new month, not a new year, but a new month, and already 40 young people dead. And yes, That was a ritual sacrifice because Enki, who is Lucifer, Marduk, who is Satan, and their archons, they will cause things to happen that results in people's lives being taken away. This is why I say you never know where you stand at death's door. This is why you always have to be prepared, because you never know. You may not make it to tomorrow, and you don't make it to tomorrow, and you don't know what you need to know, and you cross over, you are screwed. Hoping wholeheartedly that these 40 young people were spiritually prepared for crossing over. Because if they weren't, I can tell you where they are right now, the Summerland. Because if you cross over and you have no gnosis, that's exactly where you're going. But it is sad. The death of anyone is a very sad thing. And I heard about it, and yeah, absolutely sad. But I thank you for your comment. That was a question. The next comment comes from Paula K.O., who wrote, my sister had pneumonia. She's had 3 of them during the 2024 election. First of all, my apologies for that. My sincerest apologies, because pneumonia is no joke. But Paula goes on to write, she stood in line for a couple of hours with pneumonia just to vote for Trump. She's acting like it's something to brag about. Well, yeah, a lot of people who went out to vote for either Trump or Kamala, they think that that's a good thing. That's a proud thing. Not realizing that it doesn't matter who you vote for, one of theirs is going to get in office anyway, because the Democrats and the Republicans are 2 wings of the same dirty bird. Voting serves no purpose whatsoever, because it doesn't matter who you vote for. Number one, no one has ever elected a president ever in history. Never. Presidents aren't elected, they are selected. And so as such, voting for what? And so, yeah, she's bragging for no reason at all, because her vote did not put him in office. The Jesuit Church put Donald Trump in office, just like they put Obama in office, just like they put Reagan in office, and every president that has ever been the president of the United States. Paula goes on to say in her comment, I told her I wouldn't brag about that. Very smart. Good. That's right. Paula goes on to say, but of course I'm ignored as usual, and sometimes it gets on my nerves. Yeah, these people who are asleep, they're going to ignore you. They're going to also call you crazy. They're going to call you a conspiracy nut. They're going to call you this, that, and the third, because they are so mentally damaged themselves. They are so spiritually dead, dumb, and blind that what you are saying to them, it is not registering with them. It is not clicking with them, with their ISB. So no matter what you say that is true, to them, it sounds like bullshit. It sounds like nonsense. The fictional story of Noah in the Bible. Noah was going around telling people, I'm telling you, there's going to be a flood. It's going to be a flood. It's going to be rain. Oh, you're crazy. They thought Noah was crazy, because everyone who was saying Noah was crazy were all people who were spiritually dead, dumb, and blind. They were mentally damaged. And so what Noah was talking about was insanity. Come to find out, Noah was correct. The same thing with those during the pandemic. People told everyone during the pandemic, I'm telling you, those shots are not what you think they are. Don't get them. Don't get them. People thought that the ones saying that were crazy. Come to find out today, the shots were not what everyone thought that they were. So they are going to think that you're crazy. They're going to even ignore what you are saying. You can't let that get to you, and you can't let them have you thinking, well, maybe, am I wrong with what I'm saying? No. Everything you are saying that is true to them is correct. They just are so dumbed down. They are so asleep that they refuse to believe it. Just like the idiot I just talked about, Purple Kush. People like them, they are so dumbed down. They are so spiritually ignorant that they refuse to accept that truth. But you can't let it get to you. Because when you let it get to you, you are giving Enki, Lucifer, and Marduk, Satan, and the Archons power. Don't give them that power. Paula goes on to say, but I keep my mouth shut. Yes. If you have tried and tried and tried and tried and tried to get through to a person and you see it's not getting anywhere, then you shake the dust off your feet and you move on. It's no need continuing to try to get to them, because if you tried multiple times and it's not working, then you just have to let them see on their own. We're not going to be able to reach everyone. There are a lot of people who are just unfortunately going to have to see the truth on their own terms. And that's okay. Because I'm telling you, there are a lot of people who have told me, oh, I don't believe a thing you're saying. Oh, no, I don't want to hear it. And it doesn't bother me, because I feel like this. Well, they'll see. They will see on their own terms. And that's okay, as long as I have put that information out there. And when they do finally see, they're going to remember your voice. They're going to remember your words. But by the time that they do see, especially in this day and age, it's going to be too late. But as long as you have put that information out there, that's all that matters. The rest is up to them. So, Paula, thank you for your comment. But I do give my apologies for your sister having pneumonia. No matter if your sister voted for Trump or not, pneumonia is a horrible thing. I know, because I had it 2 or 3 times as a child. Whew. But thank the universe, I made it through it. But it was horrible. So you do have my sincerest apologies about that. Now, the next comment comes from Tommy McDonough. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your last name correctly. And Tommy wrote, I have a birthmark down below. I'm still trying to suss out why. I need to do more research on it. Well, I did do a video previously on birthmarks. It's on my channel. I don't know how long ago it was. It's been some time. But if you go search through my channel, you'll find it. And in that video, I talked about birthmarks, because I have researched birthmarks a lot. It's believed that when a person has a birthmark or birthmarks, those are past life wounds. They may represent scars or injuries from a previous incarnation, such as a bullet wound, a cut, or another type of trauma that has left a physical mark. They could even represent experiences from a past life or significant events. And to be honest, this is what I do believe. I believe that's the case. I believe that, in our past lives, there were experiences, there were battles, there were events, or even the way we died left us with birthmarks in this current incarnation that we're in. And that's where birthmarks come from. Those are scars. Those are scars from my past life. How I died, the physical things that I went through. And so that's what I researched, and it resonated with me, and that's what I believe. But by all means, please do your own research on it, and maybe what you research, if it's different than what I have researched, maybe that will resonate with you. But in my findings and in my research, that's what resonates with me, is that birthmarks are scars of a past life, either scars from a trauma, a battle, an experience, or a past life death. So um, that's what I have to say on that. I do thank you for your comment as well, Tommy. The next comment comes from Suckup2431, who commented about a video I did several days back, and their comment said the following. Do we have to go to the gates of Orion, or can we go straight to creating and being in our own realm in Orion? Now, let me say this. The name Orion came to me from researcher Wes Penray. And from how I understand it from him, Orion is another name for Pleroma, which is the real universe. Some people call it Pleroma, some people call it Orion, some people call it KHAA. But from what I was told, yes, you turn away from the light, you go through the net grid if there is one that you see, or you teleport. If you don't see it, you teleport to Orion or Pleroma, and there are gates, and you go through the gates and you're in Pleroma if your frequency matches the frequency that keeps Pleroma functioning. Because if you have a low vibrational frequency, you can go to the gates of Pleroma all you want to, you're not getting in. As a matter of fact, you are going to just catapult down to the realm that matches your frequency. But if your frequency matches the frequency that keeps Pleroma functioning, then once you go to the gates and you go inside, because they'll recognize you as being someone who's recently crossed over and wanting to come inside, you'll go inside and you're in Pleroma, and from there you can create and be in your own realm. Now, as far as just teleporting or going straight to creating your own realm, from how I understand it, you have to go to the gates first. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. Now, that part I do not know. This is something I don't know because I've never been to Pleroma. I'm only going by the research that I have found out about Pleroma. So I don't know. It could very well be that you could go straight to creating and being in your own realm in Pleroma, or as some call it, Orion. Or it could not be. I don't know. But I will tell you what I have researched. What I have researched is that you go to the gates of Orion, or as they call it, Pleroma. Then from there, once you go through those gates, once you're let inside, the gates open and you are let inside, then you're in Pleroma. And from there, you can create and you can go on and live in your own creation. So that's something that I guess we're all going to have to find out once we cross over and get to that point. If you all cross over and are able to get to that point, because I don't know. A lot of the things about Pleroma, we are going to just have to find out once we get there. A lot of the things about the afterlife, we are not going to know until we cross over. So that's the best answer that I can give as far as that. So I hope I have answered your question to the best of my ability, but I do thank you for your question. The next question comes from Endgame H1R, who writes the following. Sasha, what do you think about activating Merkaba? Thank you. Also, each time I hear about the challenges that might happen during the exit, I imagine the scenario and then clean it with different methods. So the next time I check, I can see the difference in my attitude. I become more sure of myself and focused on the main goal. All right, Endgame, thank you for your comment, question. This is what I found. Now, you can do you, but this is just what I have researched. Merkaba is a new age concept. And basically all it is you building an energy field around your body with your mind by using your consciousness. And after you have done that, you are basically imagining that you have ascended to this better level of consciousness, or you are imagining that you have ascended to a better dimensional plane when really you haven't. You're truly not in a ascended state of consciousness or a higher plane of existence. You're just imagining it. And it's a waste of time and it really doesn't do anything. It's the equivalent of me closing my eyes and saying, I am in a world where there's no racism, there's no classism, sexism, or any of that. There's no violence. There's just peace and love. And I'm imagining this world in my mind. But when I open up my eyes, I'm still in the same world that I was always in. That's sexist, racist, the higher class, the upper class, the low class. I'm still with all of that. I'm still in a world with violence. It's just imagining. I'm imagining that I am on a better dimensional plane. I am on a higher dimensional plane where I am one with my higher self. Well, when I open my eyes, I'm still in the same dimensional plane that I was in 20 minutes ago. It's a nice concept, but it is useless. It's better to put that energy and time into meditation and actual spiritual self work and understanding the world and the realm that we're all in. Merkaba is that ascension ridiculousness that all the New Agers talk about. That's all that is. Now, there's nothing wrong with creating around yourself a protective shield to keep archons out. There's nothing wrong with doing that. And if you create that by doing certain techniques, that shield will be in place. But closing your eyes and thinking yourself on a better level of consciousness, no, you will never be on a better level of consciousness until you get out of this prison planet and out of the matrix. Then you'll be on a better level of consciousness. Now, you can raise your frequency so you can get to that better level of consciousness, but you will never be on a permanent better level of consciousness. I mean, permanent in regards to 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days out of a year. You'll never be that here in this realm. It's only when you leave this realm and you leave the matrix. You'll never be on a better dimensional plane, not while your body is still here. The only way that you will be on a better dimensional plane is when you leave this realm, leave the matrix, and go to Pleroma. But these ascension gimmicks, they all have you believing you can ascend. You can ascend this way and ascend that way. There is no such thing as ascension. There's no such thing as ascension. No one is going to ascend physically anywhere, not while in these bodies. No. The best thing that you can do is to try as hard as you can to keep a high vibrational frequency and get as much gnosis as you can. So whenever your time comes for you to take your last breath, you know what to do when you cross over. That's it. It's simple. People make it so, and I'm not saying you in game, I'm just saying people in general. People in general, they make it so complicated. You got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this technique, you got to do that technique. It's not that complicated. Everyday meditation, everyday affirmations, work as hard as you can, do the best you can to keep a high vibrational frequency and get as much gnosis as you can. That's it. That's all you have to do. That's it. All of these other gimmicks out here, they'll have you running around in circles, jumping through hoops. It's not that difficult. It's really simple. A lot of people, and again, I'm not saying you in game, I'm just saying people in general. A lot of people, they make it that difficult because they feel if they make it that difficult, that will make people give up easily and say, well, if it's that difficult, I don't want to do it. I got to do this, that, and the third, and this, that, and the third, and this, that, and the third to try to leave out here. No, I don't got time for all that. And then they'll just quit. No, all you have to do to leave whenever it is your time to leave, whether you're 22 or 99, all you have to do to leave this matrix and escape the reincarnation trick when you do cross over, whenever you do cross over into the afterlife, is meditation every day, affirmations every day. Do the very best you can to try to keep your vibrational frequency up. Let go of the attachments, let go of the ego. Learn as much gnosis as you can and apply that gnosis to your ISB. That's it. That's it. That's all you got to do. Those are the main components. Now you have other little components like, realm building, building your own realm, planning your own realm now before you get there. But that's not really the main component. The main components are what I just said. Those are the main components you need to cross over whenever you do cross over and never have to come back here again. It's simple. All these other techniques are designed to have you jumping through hoops when it's not necessary. So no, Merkaba is just nothing more than added new age ascension ridiculousness. No, you don't need Merkaba even to do meditation. All you have to do is, when you wake up in the AM, get on the floor if you can. If you can't, that's fine. Do it on your bed or do it wherever you sleep, and get yourself into the spiritual realms of meditation. There are videos on YouTube that teaches you how to meditate. I use them. I have a video on my channel that you can use as a guide on meditation. You should always say affirmations. Affirmations, it helps to raise the frequency that is within you and keep that frequency raised. And then gnosis. Learn as much gnosis as you can. And try your very best to not let Enki and Marduk and their archons get your loose energy, and letting go of attachments, so that whether you're 22 or 99, whenever you do cross over, you're not crossing over with attachments or with an ego. That's it. So it's simple. So, but you do you. If you feel like Merkaba works for you, fine. But I'm telling you, you're never going to ascend to any higher level of consciousness while in your body, and you will never ascend to a higher dimensional realm while you're in your body. The only time any of that happens is when you leave the body. The only thing you can do is try your very best to keep your frequency raised and accumulate as much high vibrational frequency as you can. So when you cross over, you can take that with you. Simple as that. Those are my thoughts on it. But again, you do you. Endgame goes on to say in his comment, or in their comment, I hear about the challenges that might happen during the exit. I imagine the scenario and then clean it with different methods. So the next time I check, I can see the difference in my attitude. I become more sure of myself and focused on the main goal. Yes, that is a very, very, very good thing to do. It's good to think about, okay, now when I cross over, what if I face this? Well, if I face this, this is what I could possibly do. What if I face that? That is what I could possibly do. It's good to do that. You're planning. You're planning for when you cross over, what to do. And it does make a difference in your attitude, because it makes you more assured that, hey, I can do this. Because if this happens, this is what I'll do. If that happens, that is what I'll do. You have a plan in place for every type of obstacle that you may come across. This is a good thing. And I encourage everyone to do what Endgame is doing. Absolutely. You need to be thinking that when I cross over, what if they try to put this trap in front of me or this trick in front of me? Well, if they do, this is how I'll handle it. That is how I'll handle it. And the more that you plan for what might happen and how you would handle what might happen, the more confidence you have in the fact that, hey, when I cross over, nothing is going to keep me here, because I have plans in place. So that's a very good thing. It is a very good thing to do. Thank you, Endgame, for sharing that, and thank you for your comment. Now, the next comment comes from Natasha Says, and she writes, I wonder if children's deep fear of monsters and supernatural figures is from pre life memories. I remember having such vivid experiences of imaginary fears, images that superseded what I can imagine possible in the world. That is a good thing. That is a good thing to write. It does make you wonder, and it makes me think of this video I saw a while back. And I think I did a video on it here on the channel. These children, they were running scared just from hearing the name Alexa. Their parents would say, Alexa, and the kids would run everywhere. One or two kids would even get on their knees and start bowing. And I remember watching that video and thinking, why would they be scared of just a name? It's just a name, Alexa. Why would that scare them? Could it be because in the transition period from their past life to the life that they are currently in, they came across some entity, some malevolent entity known as Alexa, and that entity scared them so much that in their present life, them just hearing the name, it scares them shitless? Could that be the reason? Because when they heard the name Alexa, these children, you could see the fear on their faces. Why? So it does make you wonder if children who are scared of monsters and supernatural figures and even names, certain names, did something happen in that transition that caused them to have those type of fears? Even, I will say this, when I was a child, from 2 years old on up to about 9 years old. Yes, I know. Don't laugh at me, people. I could not sleep in the dark. And from 2 to 5 years old, I was afraid to look under my bed. Seriously, I was. I would get spooked out by just having my closet door just a little bit cracked open. And I don't know where that fear came from. To this day, I still don't know where that came from. Even my fear up until 9 years old of sleeping in the dark, I don't know where that came from. I believe it came from something that happened when I was transitioning from my last life to the life that I'm currently in. And whatever happened instilled that fear into me. So yeah, that could very well be a thing. It could be that somewhere in the time of them transitioning from their last life to the life that they're currently in, something spooked them so much that it caused them to have a fear of monsters, of certain situations, of supernatural figures, and again, of even certain names, certain words even. So yeah, I will also mention this. I have a family member who has a son. He's a grown boy now. But when he was little, for no reason at all, he was afraid of water. He was scared to get in water. And oh boy, his mother and father had a hard time getting him into the bathtub, getting him anywhere near water. You got him near water and he would scream like someone was murdering him. And looking back on it, and I've looked back on it several times since I've come into spirituality, something in his past life caused him to have that fear. Either he was drowned in his past life, or something happened in his past life that carried over into his current life that caused him to be afraid of water. Now, if that can happen with people in their past lives, you can just about imagine what can happen to people right when they're transitioning. They could be experiencing all types of things that carries over from the transitional period to their incarnating, to them incarnating into their new life period. So yeah, I do believe that that could be a thing. It does make you wonder if that's a thing. Very good comment. Very, very good comment. Appreciate it. Next comment comes from Paula again, who writes about Rob Reiner, and she says Rob Reiner was an A-lister. Didn't he push every far left agenda, at least some, like global warming? I don't know. At first, I thought Trump was an outsider and he was mostly a good guy. Wow, was I fooled? I've learned none of them can nor should ever be trusted. This goes for well known celebs too. Rob Reiner actually made me like Trump more, so I started thinking maybe that's exactly what he wants. He is an actor after all. Who knows, maybe nothing happened, or you're exactly right. Perhaps that's why he was eliminated. Well, Rob Reiner couldn't stand Trump. As a matter of fact, Rob Reiner said he hated Trump. He hated Trump passionately, and he was against everything that Trump stood for. Rob Reiner, yes, he was an A-lister. And I believe Rob Reiner did a lot of things behind closed doors, as all A-listers do who sign themselves over. However, I do believe that Rob Reiner had a lot of gnosis to him. And that gnosis is what got him killed. Because a lot of the things that Rob Reiner was saying about Trump, it was as if Rob Reiner was reading Trump, spiritually reading Trump. And the things that Rob Reiner said about Donald Trump was absolutely on the money. And then there were other things that I heard that Rob Reiner said about the spiritual aspect of everything that was right on the money. So yes, Rob Reiner was in there. Yes, he was in there. But I do believe he had a lot of gnosis in him, and it was that gnosis that got him eliminated. I wholeheartedly believe that. I believe if Rob Reiner had been just the regular A-lister who was someone like Quentin Tarantino, he probably would still be alive. But Rob Reiner had a lot of gnosis. And, you can find someone who has done the most darkest things. You can find those people who have done the most darkest things can be the ones who have the most strongest gnosis. Now, that isn't saying that because Rob Reiner had gnosis, he escaped the reincarnation trick, because there's different types of gnosis. See, that's something people don't know. There's different types of gnosis. You can have gnosis in regards to knowing that all presidents are not elected, they're selected. The world doesn't run the way people think that it runs. The elite are this, that, and the third, but don't know about the reincarnation trick. And that means when you cross over, you're still going to the Summerland. You're still going there. You're still going to the Summerland. So there's different types of gnosis. It's best to have all the gnosis. This is why I tell people get as much gnosis as you can. Because if you get as much gnosis as you can, you will be getting all the gnosis, including the gnosis that will help you to cross over and leave. So Rob Reiner, yeah, he had a lot of gnosis to him. But now, did he have the gnosis regarding the reincarnation trick? That's the thing. Yes, he had gnosis, but did he have the gnosis that would keep him from reincarnating? I don't know. But I do know he did say a lot of spiritual things that made sense. But so does a lot of people who also do not know about the reincarnation trick. So, yeah. I wholeheartedly believe Rob Reiner was eliminated. And I believe he was eliminated because of the things that he said. And yes, global warming is real because global warming is being caused by HARP. Global warming is being caused by HARP. So yeah, it's a real thing. It's real, but then it's not real. because it's not naturally being done. It's being done by a government agency known as HARP. So yeah, um, global warming is real. So he had a lot of gnosis, and he did say a lot of spiritual things that made sense. And the gnosis that he had and the spiritual things that he was saying that made sense is what got him eliminated. But the big question is, did he have the gnosis to know what to do when he crossed over? I don't know. I don't know. Because when you look at Trump and you can read exactly who Trump is, that means you got gnosis. There are a lot of people who look at Trump and say, oh, yeah, Trump is an asshole, but they're not really reading him. I can look at Trump and I can read him and know that, no, he's not just an asshole. Trump is the epitome of evil, from the crown of his head to the sole of his feet. And there is no soul inside of Trump. There is a body, but there is no soul. Not everyone can see that, because not everyone has that type of gnosis. So Rob Reiner had that type of gnosis, but I don't think he realized that he had it. He just thought, oh, I'm saying these things because I'm seeing what Trump is doing, and I don't like it and I don't agree with it, so these are my thoughts on it. But he didn't realize it wasn't just his thoughts on it, it was his gnosis. That's what made him a target. So yeah, that's my thought on that. Thank you though for your comment. I appreciate it. Now, I have about a few more comments to go, but one of the comments comes from Michael Springfield, who wanted to know, do you have to stop eating and drinking to make the transition out of this matrix? I'm being plagued with intrusive thoughts to not eat or drink and not even come out of my room. I knew at a very young age I wasn't supposed to be here. I've been ready to leave this place. I even attempted suicide a few times because I knew I didn't have a real family here, not even a mother or father. So, to your comment, I have to say this is a very touchy conversation. I want to say this first of all. I don't like to tell people the methods of how to transition out of the matrix, because everyone's method of leaving the matrix is going to be different. You're going to have some that are going to leave when they're 90 years old and they climb up in the bed and they go to sleep and they never wake up. That's natural transition out of the matrix. Some people are going to leave by way of a disease or illness such as cancer, and they're going to leave that way. I am not on this channel to tell people how to transition. I'm here to just tell them, hey, whenever you do transition, whether you are 20 years old or whether you're 99 years old, when you cross over into the afterlife, here's what you should do. But as far as transitioning out of the matrix and getting into the ways of transitioning and the instructions of transitioning as far as methods is concerned, I really don't like to get into that, because that is something personal for each person to figure out themselves. I do have to say though, it doesn't matter if you eat or drink or not when it comes to transitioning, because the body doesn't matter. It's the soul that matters. Going back to what I said, when you transition, you have to have gnosis. You have to have that high vibrational frequency. You have to be free of your attachments and your ego. That's what helps you to escape from the trick. But eating and drinking doesn't matter. However, I will say this. These intrusive thoughts that you're having to not eat or drink, if you go days without eating or drinking, your body is going to start going through changes, and the changes are going to be painful. And again, pain equals loose energy, which feeds the archons. That's why the intrusive thoughts are being given to you. That's exactly why. But as far as you attempting the big S and all of that, I really It's up to each and every person to decide how much they can take here and how much they can't take. And if you have decided that you can't take any more, it has to be your personal choice. I can't, and I'm not going to come on and tell people, hey, everybody, you all should go ahead and just do the big S and leave. No, I'm not going to do that, because that's not what I'm here to tell people about. What I'm here to tell people about is what they should do once they do cross over, whenever that time is. My teaching is about what happens after the transition. Now, I do give people advice as to the things that they can do leading up to the transition. And when I say leading up to, I'm talking about, like, as far as if you know that you're going to transition and you know you don't want to come back down here via reincarnation and do all of this over again, well, then this is what you need to do. But as far as the methods as concerned, I can't do that, because then I'm overstepping my boundaries, because I don't know you all's life. Basically, what I'm saying is I can't get into the methods of how to transition. And I mean, the big methods. Hey, if you don't leave naturally, and if you don't leave by a disease or illness, here's how you I can't get into that, because it's not my place to tell people the methods of how to transition. All I'm here to say is, whenever it comes time for you to transition, whether you are 99 years old, whether you're 22 years old, and you know that when you do transition and get into the afterlife, you don't want to come back down here via reincarnation, here's what you should do. And then I'll tell people exactly where this world is headed, so they'll know, because where this world is headed is needed for people to know, so they'll understand why they shouldn't want to cross over and come back down here whenever they do cross over. So I hope I have made myself understandable to you about this, because it's a really touchy topic. I can't tell you how many emails I get from people asking me, well, how should I do it? I want to leave now. What should I do? I can't do that. I can't do that. That has to be their own business. I can't get into that. Only thing I'm here to do is to tell you, hey, whenever it is in any of your years that you take your final breath, when you do cross over, if you don't want to come back down here and do this again, this is what you should do. And here's why you should do it, so you don't have to come back down here again. Because if you come back down here again, this world is going to get worse. That's all I'm here to do. That's all I'm here to bring forth. So, no, I would urge you to not starve yourself. That is a painful thing. Even if you don't die from it, you just starve for a couple of months. That's painful. That is, no, you don't want to go through that pain. And that pain feeds the Archons and Enki and Marduk. I will say this, you don't have a real family, go out there, and there are people who are just like myself. There are people who have true gnosis and true spirituality, who will welcome you with open arms and be just like your family. Try to go out there and connect with these people so that you don't feel so alone. You said you didn't really have a mother or father. There are people out there with true gnosis, true spirituality, that are truly like us, who will, hey, I'll be a mother figure to you. I'll be a father figure to you. You just have to find them. Some of them are even in the comment section of my videos. There's no reason why you should feel alone. And you have the universe behind you. Get out there and find these people. Now, you're not going to find them going to the club or something like that, but you're going to have to get out and even online connect with people who believe in the spirituality that you believe in, and you will find your people. So I would suggest that you do that, because it's wow, it's a heavy comment that you left. But no, intrusive thoughts. Whenever you have intrusive thoughts, and I want to say this, and I'm really going to be finished with this particular section. I saw a TikTok video where a guy and his kids, they were walking on the boardwalk, and right next to them was this railing with the ocean, and he had the caption, "I'm having the feeling of jumping off with my kids. And then he put hashtag intrusive thoughts. That's Enki Marduk and the Archons giving him thoughts like, jump, jump off the railing with your kids. Go ahead, do it, do it. And see, and knowing that if he had done that, oh my God, the pain, because I'm telling you, drowning, that's a painful thing. Ooh, no, that's not the, that's a painful thing. Oh, he had his two kids and him going through that pain. Oh, Enki and Marduk and the Archons, they would have had a field day with him when he crossed over. I had a friend who, and I will say this, she was in her home. She does her own nails. And all of a sudden she was trying to get the glue bottle open. She couldn't get the glue bottle open. And that's when she had the thought, get a knife, get a knife, get a knife. And she said she remembers just blindly going to the kitchen, being in a hypnotic state and getting the knife. And she said normally if she couldn't get the glue bottle open, she would have never used a knife. She would use scissors. Got the knife and it sliced her hand, almost sliced her finger off. And she said the pain she felt, ooh, and then not only the pain from that, but the pain that came from the surgery. Because she had to have surgery on her hand. Oh, ho, ho. But see, Enki, Marduk, and the Archons put that intrusive thought in her head so that what would come from that pain. So this is what I have to say to you, Michael Springfield. Yeah, I cannot get into the methods of transition. I can't get into that. I can't tell you how you should leave. If you decide to leave on your own, again, that's your choice. I can't get into that. Only thing I can tell you is what to do once you get to the other side. And how, if you don't want to reincarnate once getting to the other side, what you can do beforehand. That's all I can say. So I hope I've answered your comment and your question about that. Thank you for your comment and your question. All right, I have 3 more questions left. Thank the universe, because I'm tired of talking. But this question comes from Monster 33336. And they ask, what do you think about DMT and psychedelics? Now, I have been asked this before. Someone asked me before, what do you think about DMT and psychedelics when it comes to astral projection and lucid dreaming? I don't touch the stuff, and I never will. I've never done drugs, and I never will. Marijuana included. No, yuck. So I don't touch the stuff. If I go into astral projection, I want to go into it naturally. If I go into lucid dreaming, I want to go into it naturally. In my opinion, but now this is just my opinion, you do you. If you want to try it, go ahead. But in my opinion, psychedelics and DMT, they're just crutches for spiritual development. They open your body up to entities, and believe it or not, you can accidentally have contact with negative, malevolent entities that can cause harm and manipulate and trick you. They can do that through lucid dreaming and astral projection. This is why I say there are dangers in lucid dreaming and astral projection. Now, there are dangers when you do them naturally, but there are even more dangers when you do them using DMT and psychedelics. And you have to remember that you having gnosis and you having spirituality, you are on a self-development journey. And the only teacher and advisor you need is your higher self. You don't need DMT. You don't need psychedelics to do astral projection, to do lucid dreaming. You don't even need it to do meditation. All you need is your higher self, and your higher self is none other than your ISB. When you're on those drugs or psychedelics, you can't even listen to your higher self. You can't even make good rational choices because the drugs, the psychedelics, they are taking over your ISB. So that's my opinion on it. You can do astral projection and lucid dreaming naturally yourself. Now, it may take some time, but if you continue to try it night after night after night until you get it, you will get it. All you have to do is follow the steps, the adequate steps. And then again, if you don't get it the first time, try and try and try again. Now, lucid dreaming is a little bit more easier than astral projection to get. I would suggest trying lucid dreaming first and then trying astral projection. And there are some who are able to lucid dream, but they aren't able to astral project. And if you aren't able to astral project, hey, that's fine. It would be great if you did, because you can get a taste of what it's like being outside of the body. But if you can't, that's fine. It's not like it's going to hinder you once you cross over. But I am not a fan of using drugs to go into those practices, because again, they open you up for a whole bunch of things that could go wrong once you do go into lucid dreaming or astral projection. And then if you do have a lucid dream or an astral projection trip, it's going to be artificial, because it's only coming from the hallucinations that comes from those drugs. It's not coming from you naturally having those experiences. But again, if that's something that you want to try, you can go ahead, but I wouldn't recommend it. I have never tried it and I never will. So that's just me. But thank you for your question. Now, the next question comes from Suckup2431, who wants to know what to do if you feel like you're going insane in a prison planet. I have a video on my channel that talks about how to navigate through this prison planet. It's hard navigating down here. And I know it's hard, because I'm telling you, as I've said several times, my life has not been easy, and it is not easy. It's hard navigating through this prison planet, but there are techniques that can help you navigate it a little bit easier than the way that you're navigating it right now. That's meditation. That's affirmations. That's using chakras, and the stones and the like that protects your chakras. There are so many things you can do spiritually to keep yourself sane while navigating through this prison planet. And again, I have videos on this. Check them out. And then look it up yourself. Look up ways of how to navigate through the prison planet that we know of as Earth. You know, you have to get into researching these things. If there's something that you're wondering about, you got to get into researching it. Look it up. I don't recommend you really using Google, but if, that's all you have, fine. But I would recommend getting into researching how to stay sane in this prison planet, how to stay sane in the Matrix, how to navigate living in this prison planet, living in this Matrix. And there are sites of information, and you'll know that the information is right if it truly resonates with you, your Isby. If you feel, hey, what this is saying is so true, and then apply it to your daily life. Again, you don't have to do hours of meditation. I mean, it would be nice, but if you can't, 30 minutes, 20 minutes. But when you do your meditation, you're putting your all into it. And your thoughts and your speaking, the same thing with your affirmations. So, what helps me is meditation, affirmation, stones that protects my chakras, and just one of the things that does help me as well. And people say that the government has called this a mental illness. Of course they would, because they don't want people doing this, because this is a form of creativity, maladaptive daydreaming. And there are times when I will spend some time maladaptive daydreaming about the realm that I plan to reside in once I do cross over, whenever I do, and go to Pleroma. And that helps boost me. That helps keeps me sane while being in this prison planet world. So things like that. But now you listen to the government, they'll tell you that maladaptive daydreaming is a mental illness. It's not. Um, Maladaptive daydreaming is you putting your creativity at work, and they don't want you to put your creativity at work because Enki doesn't want you to put your creativity at work because creativity equals freedom from Enki and Marduk. So I hope I've answered your question on that. Meditation, affirmation, protecting your chakras, thinking about the realm that you plan to be in whenever you do cross over and go to Pleroma, planning for that realm. Those are just a few of the things that helps. I have a video on my channel, maybe more than one video, about how to navigate in this world, how to keep your frequency up in this world that is a prison planet. And the last question, well, the last comment, thank the universe. This is from Ava M6662, who wrote, I went to bed on New Year's Eve and I was like, what are people celebrating? It's so dumb. Sasha, have you read the Voyager book series by Ashayana Dean? I believe that's where Wes Penry got a lot of his research from. It seems clearly there was a war ongoing and humans have been held captive, it seems. I read his Orion book and he mentions her briefly of where he got some of his understanding. Well, yeah, I am pretty sure he did. There are people just like myself. I have gotten a lot of my information from research, but then also from my own experiences. And Wes Penry is, from talking to him, this is the same with him. He's gotten a lot of his information from research, and then a lot of it has come from his own experiences. Now, his own experiences may mirror what someone else has said. You can have experiences that mirrors exactly what someone else has said because what you experience is what they also experienced. So, yeah, if Wes Penry got a lot of his research from the Voyager book series, well, hey, he got it from that book series and he's sharing it with his people, and his people will hopefully share it with others, and that's how we keep the gnosis going and going strong. I have not read the Voyager book series. I am still trying to read this other book that was sent to me, this book suggestion that was sent to me by a subscriber, and I'm still in the throes of reading that, along with finishing up this Summerland novel. I've been trying to hurry up and finish it, but I've been falling behind because everything else is going on in my life. But I should be done with that by next Saturday for sure, because it's so difficult. It's difficult when you're writing a novel. It may seem easy to read it, but it's hard getting it together. No one but authors understands what other authors have to go through when writing. So I have not read the book series, but perhaps I will after I finish what I am doing. But yeah, there still is a war going on, and we humans are captive. And from my understanding, the war is between Enki and Marduk and the rest of Enki and Marduk's family, which is Enlil and Anu, and those with Enlil and Anu. And they are warring over us. Who's going to be in control of us? And that is still ongoing. It hasn't stopped. It won't stop until either side wins. And one of the sides, they are going to win. Unfortunately, they are. And when they win, they will be the winner for a very long time until something changes that allows both sides to lose. But yeah, there is a war going on. And this is why I like the film series, The Prophecy, because you take out the angels The story is about Enki and Marduk and Enlil and all those with Enlil and the war going on between them. It's just that in that film series they're using angels, but take out angels and put the Anunnaki and you got it. The war over humans and the jealousy over humans. It's exactly what's going on. Enki, Enlil, Anu, Marduk, they're all jealous of us. They're jealous of us humans, and they're fighting with each other over who's going to control us. So, now, good God, I'm tired of talking. I hope I've answered everyone's questions, comments. I thank each and every person who comments in the comment section of my videos. As I always say, if you email me, I might not email you back right away because I do have a life outside of YouTube, and so I may not email you back right away, but I will respond to you. And I thank you all for absorbing the information that I am bringing forth. And I hope that in these new months, going forward, because it's a new January, a new February, a new March, April, and these new months going forward, I hope that you will continue to gain as much gnosis as possible. And not just from me, but there are so many others out there who are talking about the same things that I'm talking about. Get the gnosis from them too. Get as much gnosis as you can. Continue to do as much of your spiritual work as you can. And stay safe and stay grounded. Don't let anyone take you off of your spiritual path. And know that you are powerful. And I mean this when I say this. Each and every one of you all out there, you are powerful. No matter what color you are, what gender you are, what age you are all powerful. And you have to know that, because that's something that Enki, Marduk, and the Archons don't want you to know. You are powerful, you are loved by the universe, and you are special. So, this is this video. This is the Afterlife discussion. Leave your comments and your discussions below. Until next time.